yo, this is my review for this week's episode of Hero Walk of Vigilante Man. Another fantastic episode. This was definitely more of a chill, I don't know if you would call it a filler episode, because it really wasn't. This is obviously Camacho, but more of a setup episode, sort of a bridge between this and the new arc, man. And judging from the next episode preview, we might get our first bit of Aizawa backstory, seemingly, or maybe an Aizawa focused episode. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm not entirely sure, but I might do a reaction to the next episode. Assuming it is actually like an Aizawa focused episode, we get like some new flashbacks and whatnot, man. I might do an episode reaction to this episode. Might not entirely sure just yet, but for the next episode preview, it might be something that I will do. But yeah, man, as you guys probably have saw, I'm not sure if this was how well this was posted, but like, you guys might know, as you guys are like invested into the Sakuga scene for Hero Walk and what. You guys know this episode is actually outsourced, not from Studio B to not even another sub-studio within Bones, like with Season 1, where you had Studio C take over an episode of Vigilante Season 1. This is completely out of the Bones ecosystem, a complete third party, a studio by the name of Zex, if I'm saying right, it's spelled Z-E-X-C-S. I don't know if it's pronounced Zex or something else. Which seems to be a very basic, generic studio, having just at least look at their Mal page. No real major shows, at least I recognize. Kind of a lot of seasonal shows, nothing really of note outside of the Flowers of Evil, which you guys know is like which you guys know to me, I consider a very underrated horror anime, man. Yes, I know the art style is it's a bit of an acquired taste, but like, you get used to it eventually, man, with it being entirely rose gold. That seemingly, from what at least look at their mouth, the biggest thing they've worked on was that adaptation of the Flowers of Evil, which like I said, is a very highly underrated horror anime that I highly recommend you guys check out. It's an incredible anime, man. Yes, the art style is weird. It'll take some getting used. Once you get used to it, man, you're in, man. I wouldn't call it ugly or anything of the sort, man. Like, it's genuinely incredible. So please go watch it. They also did like this one like Yuri anime. I actually had in my plan to watch list. I think this is a movie, wasn't it? Yeah, okay, it's an OVA. It's an OVA from 2018. Yeah, I got that. Like I said, they have not worked on a lot of major shows though. Apparently, they're also worked on the Fujimoto OVA series that was dropped on Amazon Prime 17/26. I'm assuming they did one of the episodes. I'm literally looking through their mail right now, man. That's what I'm kind of doing. But yeah, they're listed as one of the studios on here, so I guess they got to do an episode as well. So they've started working on some bigger projects, as of recently with Fujimoto and of course Flower. This is definitely their biggest thing they've ever worked on is this one episode of Vigilantes. And like, it looked great, man. I mean, the fact that it wasn't really an animation showcase, man, for this episode, man. Very basic, basic in terms of animation, and very, with very average animation, I guess you could say, like nothing too crazy that you would typically expect from Bones. Like, you go to Sakaboro, there are no new posts for this episode, man, which kind of surprised me. I thought there was like a couple that might have gotten posted, but no, there's literally been no updates to there's been no new posts from this episode of Vigilantes to Sakaboro, which is a little surprising. Like I said, there was a couple parts of it where I kind of figured they would have been on the site, but they're not. But yeah, anyway guys, enough jibba jabba, let's just jump right into that. So we start the episode off in Ikinawa, I think, where we have this random attack of a giant Shisa, like this like temple dog sort of creature thing, statue. Then a giant beanstalk, or a giant Koya plant, no idea what a Koya plant, Goya, I think that's how you pronounce it, Goya plant, and then fucking tofu. None of this gets explained what causes these incidents. Just randomly we have sentient plants, statues, and tofu for some reason. This never gets explained or elaborated. I am very confused how this even happened, but whatever. All Might comes onto the scene, the Flash takes care of business, and just as quickly gets the fuck out of Dodge. I will say the cubic debris on the tofu when he got smashed, it looked pretty good, I will say. So yeah. Then we cut to the back of the OP, where they actually changed up the actual opening definition thing. Now it is team up is now the word of the section of season 2, man. Either way, we go over to this cafe called Might's Cafe. No idea if this is meant to be some sort of product place with All Might, like you guys remember the Spider-Man themed restaurant from Into the Spider-Verse? I don't know if it's that for All Might in a cafe or it's just called Might's Cafe. I'm not sure if this is meant to be any correlation with All Might or not, but given the fact that All Might seemingly frequents this establishment, I wouldn't be surprised if this is actually, connected to All Might, some way, sort of like a partnership or a sponsorship sort of thing. Whatever the case is. Anyway, All Might gets there, man. He's apologizing to Sukuuchi about being late, about what happened. He mentions how he's like really looks forward to these conversations. He's looking forward to these meetings because he can finally have a good conversation. To quote The Last Samurai, banger film. He brings us some papers that I've already seen. This is made paperwork for what just happened in Okinawa or whatever. And this is when All Might finally knows that Sukuuchi's arm is in the sling, man. Which also, by the way, can someone tell me what the fuck these like black sleeve things are on All Might's dress shirt are? Like, what are these sleeves? Are these compression sleeves or something? Like, what exactly am I looking at over his arms, man? Like, I'm very confused what these black sleeves are supposed to be. Like, they stick out, man. Like, I don't know if this is like connected to his shirt and just like for some reason his shirt just like splits colors on the sleeves or something, man, or this is something else entirely. If any of you guys know, please let me know in the comments because I'm constantly kind of just wondering what the hell these things are. Anyway, so Sukuuchi, of course, explains what happened in Osaka, or Osaka, however, is it pronounced? I guess it can be pronounced either way, Osaka or Osaka. Either way, about what happened with number 6, and that he's only got a few broken ribs, and his collar and his like collarbone is broken. And of course, I was like, bro, that is serious. And All Might's kind of wondering, like, oh, he was just he could have been there. Like, if you just gave him a call, he would have been there in the flash. Hell, now, and Sukuuchi lets him know that you can't just like be at my beck and call. What if they find out you? If you put certain civilians in lives higher esteem than others, and of course, villains will kidnap them and make you put a difficult choice. The All Might is for everyone, so he can have now. And so the All Might's for everyone, man. He has to be a symbol for everyone, and he can't have a personal life. So he can't just call All Might whenever he needs some backup to take care of the villain. Which also one thing I also got to say that I love about this episode, man. I love that this episode focuses a lot on All Might and Sukuuchi's relationship, which on their friendship, man. Because in the main series, we never really got much of. We knew they were friends, and that was about it. They never really seemed to interact with it. This episode really just shows you just how close these two are, man. And it's just fucking cool, man, to see that. But I hope we see more of this throughout Vigilantes. We get more episodes or whatnot. Sukuuchi, All Might interacting, and we see more of their friendship, man. Because this episode was awesome, man. I love this. And so anyway, All Might then presents Sukuuchi a gift that he got from some civilian, and he says that's for his sister's bath salt. And then we find out that Sukuuchi also brought a souvenir while he was in Osaka, so they trade gifts. So then Sukuuchi starts ranting about his sister, about how nosy she is, and this, that, and the other thing, man. Meanwhile, while this is all going down, if you pay attention, there's this one panic shot where we see where it says has this no smoking little stand on it, but if you pay attention, in between the little things that are holding it up, there's a bunch of cigarettes just stuffed inside, which I thought was hilarious. That they have like a bunch of stuff. I don't know. I doubt it was either All Might or Sukuuchi. Whoever was here before just start stuffing cigarettes in this thing, man. I thought it was pretty funny. But anyway, afterwards, we then head back to Sukuuchi when he gets home. He hands her off the present. She thinking that he's trying to bribe her in some way. Obviously, that's not the case. So she takes it, and then she's like, ooh, bathing suit. She's like, ooh, bath salts. And then Sukuuchi once again tries to suppress her to try and get, info on Pop Step so that they can finally interview her. She then goes full detective. She goes full lawyer mode. Like Pop is her client, be like, well, you only interrogate her at our discretion. And besides, she was in no mere danger. She was a victim in the whole thing. She just said she wanted this whole thing to go behind. She wanted to put this whole thing behind her. They realized that she did nothing wrong. By that account, then there's no reason you need further questioning for her. And he's like, fine. But then Sukuuchi starts mentioning about her vigilante activities as well as her, as well as her concerts she does in the streets. She's like, why are you mentioning that? Like, what does that have to do with anything? And she's like, besides, she's been dedicating all her time to perfectly legal sanctioned events that I have been supervising. And Suguchi like admonishes her about taking another child's kid and the welfare of another person's child in her hands, take care of him, and then she starts investing. Like, you can literally tell that these two are siblings, man. Like, this woman is a cop through and through, man. Where then she starts investigating the fucking bag she sends him, man, noticing the difference between the box and the actual bag itself, which seems like it is actually All Might merchandise theme or whatever, at least in collaboration with him. She meant like how the box looks expensive and it was from overseas. It's different from what in there was probably, you know, whatever the person had on it. So then she just straight asks him if he has a connection to All Might, and she's like, if you're gonna be that nosy, I'm taking it back. Snatches it out of her hand and then walks over to the bathroom to use the bath salts himself. and then you got Makoto be like, well, you don't even use bath. He's like, time to start. Throws his hat out there, man, and then goes, I'm assuming, to the bathtub to use the bath salts. So then we get back over to the wannabe pharmacist going on there, man, making their own in-house pharmaceuticals with the big Mantis guy from season 1. He's back. Bro got like this New York accent going on, man. He's like, he sounds like an Italian mobster or something, man. And so we find out that after we found that he was like injected with a bunch of trigger with narcotics against as well, that the charges were dropped and it was clear to go home. He goes home, but of course, because he now doesn't have arms anymore, he has like these little mantis thingies, I don't know what these things are actually called. He can't open the freaking door to get in, and he's too big to get inside. Bro can't even take a dump, can't even take a shit properly. Like, he mentioned how he was he had to put newspaper all over the bathroom, and that didn't, and they're like, bro, please spare us the details. And then this dude starts ranting about how there's no accessibility here, man, for people like him, this, that, and third. And he's like, we should work on accessibility for minorities. He literally says for minorities. I'm like, bro, what am I watching? He continues on going over this political speech about how demanding accessibility and for minorities and whatnot, man, and for like infrastructure and social services. Bro demanding the whole 9 yards now that he is stuck as a mantis. And as he continues ranting, Sukuuchi adjusts his hat, which lets out the smell of the bath salts, of the rose scented bath salts, and Sukuuchi of course blushing. Then so yeah, if dude did in fact use the bath salt, it looks like he's now great because now he smells like rose petals. And they're like, hey bro, is that new cologne? Where'd you get that? Tell me where you get that cologne, man. Which, dang, what else think of that one scene from Sorry to Bother You, where those two guys are like, I hope you have a what the hell was the line? Like, I hope you have a successful day and a lot of something. I hope you just come up, brother. And he'd be like, you smell good. What's that? Anyway, so that whole thing's going on. We then cut back over to All Might and Sukuuchi at the cafe again. He goes to take his hat off, but then the rose sensor comes up, so he puts his hat back on. Then it comes clean to All Might. They didn't give him the bath salts, and you know they continue to converse from there. And he's once again venting about how she's always eager to negotiate with a police officer, like talking to her is like talking to a crime boss, etc. We then see Suguuchi go to the station where the cat cop, I don't know if he ever got his name, just like, don't mind me, I hope you don't mind me saying so, but you smell great. And then one of the older guys is like, hey bro, you finally get yourself a girlfriend? Suguuchi's blushing, they're like, leave me alone. We then get to commercial. Once again, the bumpers are there. This time we actually got another new one, this time featuring Pop, Koichi, and Knuckle Duster all in one, which is pretty cool. Then we got Koichi for the second one. And then we cut to this random, I'm assuming it's like a middle school, might have been a high school, where we see these 3 guys on this karate club. Now apparently, I actually just saw this right before I started recording, that this was actually changed. Because apparently in the original manga, these guys were referenced to Mazinger. Mazinger, I've never heard this. I don't know if this is some like old talk. Let me Google it right now while I'm here. Okay, yeah, some old anime from This looks like the 60s, from the 70s. It's like some old 70s anime from the 70s. But here in the anime, they've changed to look more like Mechagodzilla, which is pretty cool, man. And hey, I never prefer Mechagodzilla. They look cooler, man. You know, Mechagodzilla's awesome. So they start doing their whole thing. Koichi comes in and does his usual thing. I'm the guy. Well, this time he was like, I'm the guy who says advice for a reason, so I don't let him get hit. The Crawler, something along those lines. So he comes in there, and this is like one of the sequences I thought would have been on Sakagaburo, where they fire off these missiles from their hands. They're called, and the quirk is called spearhead missiles. And like I said, this is like one of the parts I thought would have been posted to Sakagaburo because there's some really good movement here. I like the movement here is when Koichi starts deflecting them with like the rings from his quirk around his hands. Like you start deflecting them with those now, and he's still while still holding on to the wall. To the wall he's on before another man just hits him right in the face. He falls down, and then Popsicle comes in there to check on it. Like I said, this is one of the parts I thought would have been in Sakagaburo because I thought it had some really good movement, good animation quality here, man. But like I said, nothing from this episode was posted on Sakagaburo. Anyway, then the four karate guys comes up there, and once they realize that it's Pop Step, they start fanboying here. They're asking her to join them with some training. They even mention love training. Not entirely sure what that means. Like, are they trying to have some sort of gangbang with this woman? I am not sure, ladies and gentlemen. I guess that is up to interpretation. What they meant by love training, but Pop says just screams out, gross! We get back to Sukuchi once again, where they're reviewing the footage of number 6 when he broke out, when he escaped. We find out that there's other people with quirks like him, aka another speedster named O'Clock. Very obvious Flash reference from the design and everything, man. Once again, not sure why the word speedster has not been uttered once throughout this show, man. Like I said, does DC have some sort of trademark on speedsters on the word speedster that I am unaware of? I find it bizarre that no one doesn't just straight up call him a speedster when that's exactly what it is. We cut back over to Suguchi. He's now meeting with Ayazawa once again in the pharmaceutical place. That Ayazawa just straight up made his own personal cafe at this point. So he starts asking what Aizawa knows about O'Clock. We find out that he was another street level hero. He ended up just disappearing he's been MIA for a few years. Suguchi mentioned how he hasn't renewed his license in a few years, and Aizawa's kind of hoping that he's like gone off to some island to live out the rest of his gold years, and he hopes he can do the same. Which, given how the main series ended, I'd say Aizawa kinda got that. Minus his foot, but I'd say Aizawa kind of got that, and now is raising Eri. And so Suguchi is now looking for a connection between O'Clock and number 6, thinking that there's something. Now I'm thinking, like, obviously I'm watching the episode, I'm thinking like, okay, maybe they're related, maybe that's his father, maybe O'Clock is number 6, but they mentioned that he's way too young to be number 6, for O'Clock to be number 6. So I'm thinking maybe it's his father, maybe it's a master, or maybe this is like what happened with Hachisuka with the parents. This is a complete red herring, and these two characters have no correlation with each other. Well, in the episode, near the end of the episode, we find out that these two are indeed connected, and that number 6 is in fact his master. But we are jumping ahead a little bit. So then we cut over to number 6. At first, I thought this was Knuckle Duster. We were finally going to see Knuckle Duster in this episode, but not quite yet. We see number 6. He's doing some training, and we start to learn a little bit more about how his quirk works. So it seems like his speedster quirk may not be initially his, and possibly be given a quirk that he was given to by All For One, given the lightning bolt or scar or whatever appears on his face right as he says, like right as he mentions his new quirk. So it seems like a lightning bolt isn't actually like a scar face. It seems to be how his quirk activates. The lightning bolt appears, and that's how he can run, and that's when he can start, going into the speed force and whatnot. That seems how it's worked out. Now, obviously, we don't know for certain, and I don't know if we'll find out in this season or later on how number 6 quirk actually works, man, and how his speedster powers work. But we're being drip feed information about number 6. We're being drip feed. So, either way, he's training, punching this punching bag, uses his quirk, man, gets 8 hits on it, and that's where he decides to end the training off. And that just seems like to be his maximum his body can take at this current moment is 8 punches while he's using his speed force or whatever his quirk is called. So then he starts walking towards the laptop where we find out that he is talking to All For One. All For One meant to just use firearms, and number 6 is like, what's the point if I can't feel my blood, if I can't feel my I can't feel my blows or whatever. And he said, fair enough. Thank you for fighting so much with your new cook so we may collect the data. So he closes his laptop. We're back to Popstep, who's doing her homework in Koichi's place for some reason. Don't know why she can't just go home and do this there. Maybe Koichi's place is closer. I do not know. Whatever the case may be, Koichi comes back into his place, mind you, and hands her a Sprite. And so Koichi shows up the new power he can do where he now can like throw stuff into the air. This is another part where I figure we're not soccer more where we see Pop trying to catch the second can that Koichi sent up into the air. Great, I like the character acting here, man. And then we get another flashback of Koichi where we find that seemingly he didn't actually need the 3 or 4 points of contact for his court tour. It seems like he only needed the 2, but because he kept falling on his ass as a child, he kind of just got into the habit of that. As we see him fall on his ass when his mom screams out, Koichi! Loki here, his mom is a psycho though. Like Loki with like how much he just beats the shit out of him for literally no reason. That shit was crazy in season 1, man. But anyway, so then Koichi shows off his new technique after he squats down, as he squats down like a sumo wrestler and starts firing repulsor blasts from his hand. So and he like mentions it like he shows he like mentions that we have like all these like on the background stuff relating to sumo wrestling. I don't know if these are different like techniques or forms or just named for moves that sumo wrestlers do. I don't know. I've never watched sumo, but either way he calls it the crawler scrappy thrust style and starts firing more repulsor blasts from his hand until he ends up breaking his window. And then Pop just starts shouting something as she like pushes him, which I'm assuming once again is some sumo shit. And then shows him the board, reminding him like what not to do. And we see like a little bag containing Knuckle Duster's knuckles. If I remember correctly, it was his brass knucks. So he had his mask. I forget what exactly was in the bag. But Koichi's like, oh wait, and then we get like 5 Knuckle Duster just beating shit and just destroying shit. And Koichi's like, no, I can't use my new technique. And then Pop's like, that's right, that's right, hiding deep inside you. And that is where the episode ends, ladies and gentlemen. We end on one final shot of Knuckle Duster once again. I don't know, like I'm kind of hoping that this is mean that we're gonna see him in episode 3, but I wouldn't be surprised if they end up like really dragging this out from when Knuckle Duster finally reappears in Vigilantes. We'll have to wait and see on that, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, guys, that is where the episode ends. Overall, you give this episode a 9 out of 10, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did, subscribe if you're new. Follow me if you feel like it. Links are across below, and subscribe for more. See you guys next time.